Hey, it's another Taboo Wednesday topic, and this one is all about being too scared to take risks. Actually, more closely, it's about telling other people that you're scared of taking a risk, because it's really hard to admit that you're scared, and especially in business, especially when you are meant to be in control of things, you're meant to know what you're doing. Sometimes it's hard enough to admit to ourselves that we don't want to take a risk, but when we have to admit to somebody else, which is actually key to solving this, to be honest, it's key to be able to tell people, but it's one of the hardest things to do. So rather than take a risk and succeed, people try to take no risks at all, which is hard in life, to be honest. And taking no risks at all is just not possible. But when we have excessive fear, what we look at is, well, what are the consequences of me acting? I want to do this. I think I can do this. And our brain says, no, you're not good enough. You can't do it. It's going to fail. You're going to lose your money. You're going to lose your job. You're going to. And this is when we have, rather than just good understanding of risk, a reasonable appreciation of risk, because appreciating potential risks is really important. But when we have excessive fear, what we do is we look at the consequences of what this decision will possibly lead us to, and our brain tends to conjure up worst case scenarios. So the weird thing is, what we do is we know we're capable of doing something, we know it'd be a good idea to do this, but another part of our brain jumps in, and this is a sabotage thinking that I talk about so much, and it conjures up the worst case scenario. And that's its job. It's an accident. It shouldn't be doing this all the time in this way, because our own good thinking can balance a good risk or a bad risk and say, actually, no, this is not a good idea. We shouldn't do this. It knows how to do that. But I'm talking about excessive risk, excessive fear, when we are fearing way too much. So people who are that risk averse have so much fear about what they don't want. I don't want to fail. I don't want to be stupid. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to mess up my family. I don't want to, all these things, that they never take the opportunity of succeeding. And this is probably one of the most frustrating things that I work with. Really talented people who could take a calculated, well thought out risk and actually have the ability to succeed. But this thinking that is so risk averse, often it's learned when we were kids, way before we ever got into business or into building our careers, is that it's so risk averse, it shuts down our thinking. And when we get stressful thinking, this fear, what we don't see is all the options we could see and create that actually will give us a real tangible way of being successful. So under stressful thinking, what we do is we become polarized, we become black and white. And it's, I've got to succeed or I'm going to fail. And it's very, very dramatic. It's very, very stressful. So what we don't see is, like I said, all those options that are available of how to do it, how to create success without it being all or nothing. When people say to me, I want to start a new business, but I can't start because I've got a job. Well, there's always other options of how to do it and make those transitions where it's much, much safer. But people just so risk averse. I've got one person in my mind I'm thinking about at this moment. They are so talented. They are incredibly talented. And we've had this conversation so many times, but they just won't do it because their brain just says, I'm too scared. We won't even get to the point of getting this fear under control. They won't even start working with me. And they're just wasting time. They're burning through their time. So they've got loads and loads of missed opportunities. And this is what I want to help you with if this is you, because they're missing so many opportunities that they could take, but this excessive fear is just stopping them from taking any of them, and they're just passing them by and passing them by. So at the end of this, Taboo Wednesday topic is, it's taboo because we don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about that we are scared. But Every major decision comes with a risk. But if you're damaging what you're capable of achieving because of its exaggerated risk aversion, then I can help you with that. Guaranteed I can help you with that. Because it's just a part of your brain that's overdone the risk aversion, overdone the fear. But the thing is, when we don't make that step, what we've done is almost like prove to ourselves, well, I saved you because nothing went wrong, because you never committed to anything. But inside you know that all these opportunities are passing you by. So it's like controlling your failure by failing a little bit at a time. But I didn't fail big. So try not to fail big. You fail slowly again and again and again. And that is such a terrible shame. And it doesn't have to be this way, because as soon as you come out of this fear cycle, your brain actually wakes up and can see lots of ways of achieving things without having to take enormous risks. Because you don't really want to take enormous risks. You don't need this excessive fear, because the real you will be able to create a plan about how to achieve what you want to achieve while not taking crazy risks, because that's what you do all the time anyway. So let's get this turned off, because it really gets in the way and it's very, very frustrating. But the first thing you got to do is go, hey, Stephen, yeah, I'm risk averse. I'm way too risk averse, and it's just stopping me doing things I know I can do. So please get in touch. Let's have a chat and let's get this thing cleared. I promise you it can be cleared much easier than you think. Anyway, I hope this has been useful, and I hope to speak to you soon if you've got this problem.